What's up, everyone? All right, so in today's episode, I'm going to break down how this stock right here, STI, was able to squeeze up over 400% on breaking news. And they used a couple of keywords in their headline, including AI, data centers, SpaceX, and doing low orbit data centers. So this had kind of everything it needed in terms of keywords to align with all the hype that's going on right now with the SpaceX IPO that's coming up on June 12th. So when I first saw this headline this morning, the stock had already squeezed up quite a bit. However, when I read the headline, I recognized that this was something I should definitely pay close attention to. However, if you recall, on Monday, we had another company that put out a headline. It had something to do with low orbit satellites, tying in with the SpaceX theme. And that stock popped up and ended up going red on the day. So on the one hand, I was optimistic that maybe this one would work, but I was a little bit cautious because we had such a similar headline back on Monday that failed pretty dramatically. Had I known how well this would work, I would have gotten in at $10, $12 a share and held all the way to the high of what is currently now over $25 a share. But there was no way to know that. So I did as I always do, which is I started breaking the ice and building my cushion. And I kept trading it. And I worked my way from 10,000 up to 20,000 on the day, up to 30,000. And some people said, Ross, you're at 6 times your daily goal, 5,000 a day, you're at 30 grand. Take the money off the table. And I said, no, I won't do it. Then I'm up $45,000. Then I'm up $55,000, $65,000. And people said, Ross, this is crazy. You've got 10 times the daily goal. Stop trading right now. And I said, why would I stop trading? The stock is continuing to move higher and I'm continuing to make money. So I said, here's when I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop after my first bigger loss. After my first bigger loss, that will tell me that I have peaked for the day and I'm starting to, make my way back down. And I want to stop right then and there because that first loss is easy to tolerate. I wouldn't have made my way all the way up to the peak if I hadn't kept taking risk. But once I start to slip back down, I've got to cut it right there. Because the biggest mistake is I have that first loss and then I'm like, ooh, I really want to get back to my high a day. So I take another trade with maybe a little more risk and I lose again, maybe even more. And now I'm really on the backside coming back down. And maybe now I've given back 30% of my day or even 50% of my day. I've given back my entire day before because all of a sudden I get emotionally compromised and I'm chasing getting back to that number. So today I followed the playbook. We had a stock that met all 5 pillars of stock selection. We've got breaking news. The price is great. The float, good. No issue there. It's squeezing up. It's got the relative volume. So then I'm looking for a setup. Let's go ahead and jump on the screen share, and I'm going to start breaking this one down in a bit more detail. As you can see, I am currently up $75,682.64. My high of day, about 87,000. So on my last trade, I lost 12 grand. Am I happy to lose 12 grand? Oh, no, I guess I shouldn't say I'm happy to lose 12 grand, but I can absolutely tolerate losing 12 grand, knowing that if I had stopped when I was up 30, I would never be up 75. So I followed the rules and net at the end of the day, $75,000 is phenomenal. So here's STI. Let's go ahead and click on this headline that came out at 6 a.m. This is annoying because when they put out the headlines this early, a lot of traders can't participate at the beginning of the move. And so the result, if we look at this, is that the volume, early on, it's definitely lighter than what it would have been if they had waited to put out the news till after 7 a.m. But nonetheless, that's when they put out the news. So it ends up squeezing up first to 7, going all the way up to 12. Nice little pullback right here, squeezing higher, 7 a.m. So right there's the pop at 7 a.m. We get this push up to 1770. So now we're already from $4 up to 1770. Then we pull back for a long period here. And I wasn't sure I was going to take any more trades. So right here at about 7:15, I peaked on the day at $20,000. And I was like, man, that's not bad. It's 7:15, I'm up 20 grand. That's pretty good. And I didn't take any trades on anything else for this whole stretch. I didn't take any more trades on STI. I didn't take trades on any other stock. I just sat up 20 grand for about an hour and a half. And then it was right here at about 8:35 when we squeezed through the high of 1770. And so as we squeezed through that high, I said, all right, this thing's moving higher. I'm getting back in. And boom, I got back in. We got a huge trade right here. And on that squeeze there, I made, well, I guess it was $59,000 because I peaked at 79,000. Pulls back here. I traded this move here. And then next thing you know, I'm up 87,000. Then I got in right here and stopped out right here and lost 12 grand. Let's look at the 1 minute chart. I'll show you my loss on the 1 minute. So my loss was getting in right here for the break at 26 and stopping out right down here. Now it went all the way down to 23. There's no way that I should have held this all the way to this low only to be coming back up here to be slightly green. You have to manage your risk. I took my exit. Look, you got to take your loss. I took my loss and I said, I'm not going to get back in, even if it goes higher. Why? Because if I get back in and it does one of these immediate rejections that are even bigger than this one, I'm going to lose even more. And then I'll be up 65,000 or maybe 55,000. And that's when I'm going to start to become emotionally activated because I'm going to have my mind anchored on the fact that at one point I was up $87,000 and I screwed it up. And I don't want to spend my morning thinking about that, right? The whole rest of the day. So I said, I've got to know when to walk away. And so I took the profit off the table. And I'm really grateful for where I sit right now. $75,000. This is the biggest green day I've had in over a month. Let's look at the metrics here. So the month of May, biggest green day in May was, let's see, 46,000 right there. Biggest green day in April was 56,000. All right. Biggest green day back in March. I mean, you know, now we're starting to, it takes a little while to go back. Biggest green day back in March, 52,000. Biggest green day in February, 81,000. So 81,000 was the biggest green day in February. In January, I had 86,000. So technically today was the biggest green day of the entire year by $1,000 for about 10 minutes. But I wasn't thinking about that because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If this had kept going and I had made money on that last trade, I would have been up over 100 grand. And then if it kept going from there, it didn't reject here, but it kept going higher, I would have kept trading it. Next thing you know, I could have been up 120, 140, 150, 200. Who knows? We don't know. But on a good day, what I don't want to do is I don't want to cap my gains. That's the whole thing about trading. We cap our downside. We don't cap our upside. That's why I don't walk away when I hit my daily goal. My daily goal is a reference point of what I would like to achieve. And on a great day, I can 10x my daily goal. To my daily goal of 5,000, I'm up 15x the daily goal. This is a great day. So, you know, I need days like today because they are what sort of juice the whole year. They add icing to the cake of the entire year. In fact, days like this can become the majority of the cake, if we're going to stick with that analogy. And the daily smaller green days are kind of the icing in between. You know, just I show up every day hoping that we're going to get a big move like this, but it only happens a couple times a month. And again, this is the biggest green day I've had since January. So, you know, we've had 3 or 4 days like this in the entire year. But I'm glad I showed up for them because 4 days like this is $300,000, right? That makes a meaningful difference. How much am I up on the year? Right now, I'm up on the year a little over $1.1 million with today's profits, just under 1.1 million. So that means 30% of my profit from the entire year came from about 4 days of trading. Now, whether or not those were just 4 individual stocks, like today was just 1 stock, I don't know for sure. But 4 days contributed 30% of the profit for the year. That's pretty impressive. We're over 100 days into the year. So only 4 days contribute that much. That's kind of, it's a blessing and a curse. The curse is that it means you got to show up every day because you just never know when days like this are going to happen. I didn't expect it. Yesterday was a no trade day. I didn't take any trades yesterday. Then today, all of a sudden, boom, we've got a big move. What's the rhyme or reason? Well, it's the headline. Ultimately, it's the catalyst. We had a good catalyst today, and I need a good catalyst in order to have a big trade. So I hope that we have more catalysts. Today's also the day the pattern day trader rule goes away, but not for all brokers. Schwab, which is where I'm going to be doing my new small account challenge, they're not getting rid of the pattern day trader rule, in fact, until Monday. Currently, STI is showing a resumption of $27 a share. I could see 2 things happening here. It could open and go right into another halt at 28.50 or 29. or it could open and flush and halt down. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a roll of the dice when you're dealing with stock halts after the open. This is a stock with 52 million shares of volume. You've got a tremendous amount of volume. So there's the resumption. There's the halt down, right? So it was one of the two. And my concern was that it could do that. Now, if you're curious about how I was able to make that kind of prediction, this is where you really benefit from all of my years of experience. I try to share with you every single day while I'm trading my commentary. And what you're able to do is, you shouldn't be blindly following me on my trades by any means. You got to take your own trades, but you can essentially see the market through all of my educated intuition. You can see the market through the lens that I see it with as I translate what I'm seeing, because these are the things that I'm calling out all the time. Now, it doesn't mean I don't ever fall into the trap. I did. I gave back 12 grand today on that one trade. But before that, I had, whatever it was, a bunch of winners in a row. So for those of you guys who've been watching on the sidelines, I'll put the link in the description to do a 2-week trial. I think you guys would be blown away by using this software every single day to help you find stocks that are moving, to help you see the breaking news in real time, to be in the chat room with other $1 million badge holders. Of course, I've got my $1 million badge, well beyond that. But we've got a badge system at Warrior Trading, so you can see the members who are trading profitably. We've verified that they've achieved that degree of success. And you'll be able to listen to my commentary. You're going to get a lot out of it. And now with this change in the pattern day trader rule, I do think we're going to see more traders come into the market, but my concern is that a lot of the traders coming into the market won't be well enough educated to be able to make good decisions. And I don't want to see traders lose money. I want to see traders take it slow, practice a simulator, and build on a slow and steady kind of track record approach, that you take it one step at a time. You build consistency with one setup, and then you advance to the next setup. Now, for those of you guys who have not read this bestseller, and it is a page turner, let me tell you, this does walk you through the guardrails that I used when I was getting started to make sure I'm thinking about risk, because this is a career of risk management. You've got to be thinking about risk every single day. So today I made the decision of when to walk away, and some would have argued, Ross, you're leaving money on the table, especially when it halted up. I guarantee you there's someone who said, I can't believe Ross left. This is halted up right now. But I knew something that they haven't yet learned, or maybe haven't picked up on, which is that you've got to know when to walk away. And it's always better to walk away a little early than regret it and walk away a little late. So with that, I hope you guys really enjoy this recap. I'm excited for the rest of the week here and going into next week with a new small account challenge starting. So make sure you guys check out the 2-week trial. And I'll remind you again, as always, that trading is risky. My results aren't typical. So manage your risk, take it slow, and I'll see you streaming bright and early tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.